Okay, cool. So the goal of our initiative is really to engage with those new and early career faculty members at CAE institutions. I know I've known Gretchen for a few years, and a few years back we were talking about, how we connect across the CAE community and all the amazing partnerships that have kind of happened because of this collaborative environment that the CAE community provides. And we really wanted to kind of extend that down to those new and early career folks that might not be the point of contact just yet, but will probably be very soon. So we started this really to kind of connect them with the resources that the community is building for the community. And this could be anything from curricular resources. If you've attended other CAE events, I also work with the Clark Project as well as the CARD Project and Competency Constructor. So there's a lot of really great things that I know I've seen and I've been a part of. But then we also want to connect everyone in the community to these great opportunities. So that's really kind of the goal of our group and everything that we've done. We just started last year. And we do have an amazing group of members here. A lot of people are here on the call. I know I saw Terry pop in. I know Pam and Zoe are unable to join, and so is Renee. I saw Litany on here, and we have a bunch of other people as well. Oh, there's Renee actually popping in right now. And we've also had different people come through as well over the past year, but they have really helped plan these workshops and work with different new and early career faculty, as well as students that are aspiring faculty members. So those PhD students, those master's students that we're trying to get to come in to teach at our institutions as well. So thank you to all of these people for kind of supporting us and working with us to create all these awesome workshops for these new and early career faculty. Now, some of these workshops have covered specific topics for teaching, especially things that new and early career faculty members most likely will get assigned to teach. So things like Linux and networking, introduction to cybersecurity, business continuity and risk management, pen testing, digital forensics. And we've also covered some hot button issues and hot topics, like generative AI, how we can use that in the classroom and things like that, as well as we had an amazing session on how faculty members can get involved in extracurricular activities. So your student clubs and your competitions and all of that thing, all of those things. Now, if you're bummed that you weren't able to attend any of these, don't worry. We have them all recorded and they're all available on the CAE community YouTube channel. And we have our own playlist now, which is really exciting. So there's a screenshot over here of all of our videos that we have. So you can always go back and rewatch those for any of those topics that I have listed over here. And any future ones, we also try our best to record those as well. Now we consistently receive feedback that these workshops have provided a lot of valuable tools, and more importantly, not just like a link to a tool, but examples and explanations of how to use these in a classroom or in a club activity, or just contact information to get involved with different areas of the community. So this is something we want to continue working on throughout this next year. And this is my big plug. I love that we have over 450 views on our YouTube page to see all the videos and things like that. So definitely go check those out if you are bummed that you didn't get to see any of those. Now, we do have a couple of upcoming opportunities and events that we've already kind of put together and planned out. One of our biggest ones is in February. We are going to be doing a virtual teaching showcase. We're providing 10-minute slots for faculty to talk about really anything that has helped them teach. So this could be a piece of curriculum, a lab that you like to do. I know that a lot of our new and early career faculty members have asked for, how do I do group projects? What is a good setup for that? So we're providing 10-minute slots for faculty to come and talk about these various things. So if you're interested in presenting, please, I will have a link at the end of this presentation to kind of go through just a quick sign up form so that we can get an idea of who maybe wants to come and talk. These are all going to be individually recorded and posted on YouTube, so you will be able to link to the specific presentation that you're going to be giving. And it's just going to be a fun time to kind of learn from one another and hear about different things that maybe we can't extend into like a full 1 or 2 hour workshop that we typically do, but should still be highlighted for use within the community. And this QR code will also take you to that page as well if you want to snap that and fill that out. And this link, again, will be at the end of the slides, and I can drop it in the chat as well. Some other things, we do have one regularly scheduled workshop kind of all set to go in March. We're going to be doing Linux. We've already done one, but there's been a lot of requests for an episode two. So this is going to be on March 21st from 12 to 2. It's going to be on Zoom. Since you're already registered for this session, you're good to go. You'll be able to get all the email updates on these different events that are going to be happening. We also have an in-person event happening at WESIS 2025. So if you're going to be at WESIS, we are going to be doing a panel titled Being the Force Multiplier, Conversations on Careers in Cybersecurity Education. So we actually have two of our panelists on the call. We have Litany and Elizabeth Rasnick, who will all be there with us. We will also be having a very special guest, Lynn Clark, on our panel as well. So that is going to be at WESIS. We don't have the presentation slot just yet, but I will put that out in this group if you are going to be attending, if you'd like to come and see us live and in person. So that is kind of the overview of our group, what we've done so far, kind of what we're working on. Does anybody have any questions before I kind of move on? I'm going to check the chat here. And feel free to introduce yourself to one another in the chat. Mhm. Any questions? You can also unmute if you'd like to.
So I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Um, so no background in Linux. I have played around a little bit in the past.
Mhm.
Um, do I need any foundational preparation before we start or should I just watch the episode one before we do the episode two?
Mhm. Yeah, so our goal with these workshops is to introduce the topic and different ways that you can introduce it to your students as well. So I would say you probably don't need too much of a background in it because there's a lot of really good resources also provided in all the presentations. But you can watch the first episode of our Linux workshops if you'd like to. That's all on YouTube. Mhm. And if anybody wants to jump in and
Thank you.
yeah. Mhm. Okay, any other questions? Mhm. Okay, cool. Um,
Paige, I wanted to jump in real quick and just say, hey, get the word out. You know, we've been, as you mentioned, we get great views, we get great support, but at the same time, we really want to expand this. I mean, this is the next generation of what the CAE community is. So if you meet somebody, even at a totally different conference, that's from a CAE that's new to this, please invite them to this conversation. We would love to get your insights. You know, new faculty sometimes has some great new innovative ideas on how to approach some of this, and we want to harness that as much as we can into the community. So Paige, I just wanted to add that in as a call out.
Yeah, and as a new and early career myself, I've only been teaching for about 3 years. It's been really awesome to learn about not just the different resources that are available, but how people maybe use the same resource. So even if maybe we have something that has already covered your area of expertise or things that you teach or you have worked with, we can always do kind of an update and a second session, or we can share different resources. So again, getting the word out, even if you have colleagues that might be interested in, just learning more and working with us, we'd love to have them. We're open to all the CAE institutions. It's kind of the only requirement there. As long as you sign up with your .edu email address, you do get added to our email list. Okay, cool. Any other questions?
And
Anything else?
Paige, we all know that sometimes those early career faculty get like classes um, assigned to them with less than maybe enough time to really prepare. And, you know,
Mhm.
this is a great way to get kind of those quick shortcuts on how to make it impactful and who can you work with or who can you call, right? Like
Mhm.
this is also the phone a friend part of this community of, wow, you presented this in this recording. Can I meet with you and talk more about it? I've got this class that they just gave me and you didn't cover this piece and I wanted to ask you more about it. So please use it as a networking tool as well.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. Okay, cool. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna swap my share here. We'd like to hear from you, and see what you'd like to do. So I have a poll everywhere here that I'm gonna start up. Mhm. Present it. Share my screen again. Mhm. And I will drop this link as well once I move this out of the way. in the chat. So we just have two questions here, so that we can get you back to your regularly scheduled day. Chat, where's my chat thing? There it is. Cool. Mhm. I don't know why that did not post. Here we go. That link should work. We'll sit here. And this can really be anything. Even if you would like to see maybe another iteration of something we've already covered, that would be valuable information for us to gain as well. And it can be anything that, if you think back to the first couple of years that you were teaching, or maybe even the first semester, what are things that would have been helpful for you to have some resources on? Feel free. Okay, curriculum development. Yeah, that's a big request. Yeah, we're currently working on putting together a workshop for CAE redesignation, and also just how to navigate the knowledge units and alignment to those. So we're working on that one hopefully for later this semester, if not, definitely early next semester for the fall. Healthcare. Okay, cool. Okay, ABET accreditation. Anything else? If you don't want to log into the poll everywhere, that's also fine too. If you just want to drop it in the chat. Networking. Yep. Yes. Our workshop last month was on risk management. There was a really good discussion towards the end on using tabletop exercises and things like that. So if whoever answered that one wants to check that out, it's a good one. See, ethical code of conduct into curriculum. Yes, that's a good one. For the NCAEC ethical code and professional conduct. I use that in my intro class. I like that one to introduce ethics. Cyber range development and use. We have some speakers set up for next month to talk about the NICE challenge, which is now XP Cyber, and Try Cyber. So it kind of falls in that one. Cool. Collaborators for healthcare, program of study designation, course development. Okay, cool. And if anybody wants to elaborate more on these, feel free to come off of mute and talk if you would like to. Okay, making cryptography. Yeah, cryptography. That's a fun one to teach in an intro class, but once you have to get more detailed, it gets a little bit more nitty-gritty. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Cool.
Paige, it's
Yes.
Yay here. How are you? Thank
Hi.
you for all that you guys are doing. I do want to touch on the item that I put in the integration of the ethical code and professional conduct.
Mhm.
Specifically, I've been challenged, let's say, by students that I not only require them to sign to this.
Mhm.
My first assignment in the class is to have them report their lab progress. I
Mhm.
call it lab progress report. This is
Mhm.
pretty much like like in a chemistry
Mhm.
class or biology. When you do a lab, you gotta write the report, and
Mhm.
part of it is also to train them that when you are in cybersecurity, you not only have gotta do things, but you gotta document what you did.
Mhm.
And so that's part of the lab progress report. And what I'm finding is that the first week of the class, I would say probably 10% of students who lie on their lab progress report based
Mhm.
on what I see in the back end, because
Mhm.
we're using Cyber Range and we're using other platforms that I
Mhm.
have full access to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's challenging, you know. I it's and it gets every semester I go through the process with giving them a 0
Yep.
and going through the discussion. And I'm even giving a whole talk during the first class about a case, the Equifax
Hmm.
data breach case,
Hmm.
which is all about the fact that the IT department claimed they patched all the servers and they haven't.
Hmm.
And as a result, there was a massive data breach. And so I'm giving them all of that, and still I'm getting students to unethically report actions in labs that there is no evidence
Hmm.
for it. And sometimes it's not comfortable, especially when a student is emailing the dean and saying, "Hey, I did it. There is no evidence on the server, but I still claim I did it." You
Hmm.
know, things like that.
Yeah.
So there are challenges for us to actually,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
we need to touch on this. This is critical for
Yeah.
professionalism, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about teaching the ethics, but it's also following through and making them actually follow it. Which that's a bit, I see that in my classes too. I was actually kind of shocked a little bit when a student did it for the first time. Especially, like I had to like kind of think, and I went to like my mentors and I was, so what do I do when they lie?
Yeah,
So I think that's a very important thing for new and early career because as I've been reminded many times, it's like just because you didn't do it as a student doesn't mean that it's not happening. And just because you never had to deal with it, now you kind of have to learn almost on the flip side as being the educator. How do you deal with these types of situations and how do you impart the importance of being ethical and professional in your everyday work, no matter what it is?
exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely work that in. I know many of our workshops have included some type of ethics component,
Right.
but we can definitely see about putting that on the list for a separate workshop.
Yeah, I'll be happy to share what I do and how I do it
Hmm.
if time comes.
Hmm.
Just, tap on me if needed.
Okay.
Unless there are others who probably do a better job than me.
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
how you doing, Professor Levy?
I'm doing good, Renee. Those
It's
of you who don't know, Renee was my master's student.
Mhm.
yeah. How you doing? And now that I'm teaching, I've seen this kind of problem too a lot, like a lot. Um, Currently, I'm teaching a lot of Security Plus, Network Plus, A Plus, and even like cybersecurity classes at Broward and Miami-Dade College at the same time concurrently.
Right.
And I've gotten to the point now where I tell them, you're going to cheat. I know some of you will. And I kind of say this at the beginning of the semester. And I say, and let me, and I even say this to my Python students because they cheat the worst. And I look at them and I say, let me explain something to you. You're doing yourself a disservice because when you go to that job interview, you'll never be able to get that job. And I say there's a reason for that because you didn't do any of the work. People are using AI right now to do their work, and
Mhm.
they don't realize it's going to hurt them as soon as they try to look for a work. They're not going to be able to pass that interview. They don't have any knowledge. They
Yeah,
just kind of use AI as a crutch, and they got through the lessons, and now they got the degree thinking that's all they needed. And I told them, no, that's not all you need, and you need
Mhm.
more than that. So they'll it'll happen to them, but I think that's a good thing to touch upon. I really think that's something we need to figure out.
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Got a couple other response. Yep. Using AI in cybersecurity. I know for our KU workshop, we're working on having some of the lead authors for the Cyber AI KUs come and talk about those knowledge units and kind of what went into that process. And I know some of the lead authors are also on this call as well. So we could definitely try to work that into that discussion. Supply chain management, security management, that would be a very interesting topic. And whoever put that in, if you would be willing to give a workshop on that, that would be amazing. I know we talked a little bit about it as we've kind of been touching on intro to cyber topics, especially around secure coding and knowing where your dependencies come from. I know that was a topic of discussion. I forget in which workshop, but that would be really awesome. So if you are whoever that is, please send me an email. We'd love to get you with our group. Oh, awesome. Cool. Thank you guys. Okay. Yeah, and if you guys think of anything else after this call and kind of after we wrap up, please feel free to respond in that email chain that I have. And we can put that on our list as well. We've been keeping kind of a running list of different topics and things that people would want to see. And it doesn't have to just be workshops. We're also open to like networking opportunities. If people know how to run virtual networking really well, that would be awesome to have a nice group of people that would be willing to kind of help out with that. So if that is something you're interested in, please feel free to reach out. Cool. And I see a lot of stuff about healthcare in the chat. That would be awesome. Hmm. Okay, cool. Thank you to everybody responding in the chat there. Okay. So we got one more question. Mainly just as we're continuing to plan, we like to get this feedback as much as possible. What length of workshop is preferable? And if you would like to put that in the chat, that's totally fine as well. Right now we run 2-hour workshops, just because we feel that gives enough time to cover some of the breadth of the paper of not the papers. I read the comment there, but just the topics that we're teaching and things like that. But maybe 1 hour could work for certain things. So we'd just like to get your feedback on this one. And it should be activated. There we go. Cool. Yep, getting some responses. Okay, so it still looks like 2 hours is the preferable time. If you want to drop it in chat too. Yeah, I guess it depends on the subject. We've had shorter ones as well, but we just try to block 2 hours. So I just wanted to see if that was still what people were interested in terms of length. Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay. So I'm going to stop this share and go back to my slides.
Or once a semester, maybe doing a deeper dive, having one that might be 4 hours, half day.
Yeah.
On the most, like you said, some of these are super complex.
Hmm.
And so maybe each semester we pull everybody of, hey, what would be the deep dive topic this semester? And then we have somebody put together this, one time each semester, a little bit longer look at it.
Hmm.
How do people respond to that? Does that sound like something you'd be interested or have time to do?
Yeah. Yeah. People want to drop that in the chat. Or
I
just come
think
off mute.
deep dive is not a bad idea. Sometimes probably people like me who are sort of starting have very peripheral knowledge.
Mhm.
So I would definitely be interested.
Mhm. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Mhm. Cool. Yeah. And we're also working on applying to different conferences that have slots for workshops and things like that. So we can do it in person. But we're always here every month virtually. So cool. Okay. Got another one on the deep dive. Let me just grab the links that are going to come up on the next slide for you all. So I'm gonna drop these in the chat as well. Um, these are just the links to our initiative page on the CAE community page that has also all the links to the YouTube information and things like that. We have the workshop series registration, which because all of you are on the call, you're already registered, so you're good. But if you'd like to share it with your colleagues, that link will be there. And then if you are interested in those 10-minute slots for next month for the virtual showcase, there is just a quick little Google form, really just getting your name, the topic that you're interested in covering, and then just a short description of kind of what you would like to cover. Again, we're kind of looking for the broad range of pedagogies, curriculum, things that you've talked about, maybe even things that you put out today. If you're interested in kind of doing a 10-minute information, that can also help us get information as to which topic might be a good selection for a deeper dive. So let me find my Zoom here so I can drop it in the chat. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Mhm. So, it looks like I can give you 29 minutes back in your day since this was scheduled to go until 1. But I'm going to hang around if anybody wants to ask any questions or if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves. I can also open breakout rooms if people would like to speak with one another since you're on the call and I see a lot of new faces. But is there any other questions, comments, last thoughts before we all, I hope, head into our weekend or winding down our week at least?
Quick note page, if anyone else wants the papers regarding the supply chain cybersecurity research we did,
Mhm.
put your email in the chat area. I do have right now Terry and Rafej. So if anyone else wants it, just give me your email. I'll add you to the email. Thank you, Terry, for the email.
You bet.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Okay, cool. We got another one there. Thank you guys. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop my share. Again, I'm gonna leave this open for a couple more minutes if you guys want to ask any questions or hang out after. Thank you all for coming. This recording will be up, so if anybody wanted to share this with colleagues, maybe couldn't join, please let me know. Cool. And I'm gonna stop the recording here.